I was visiting my mom in the middle of rural Missouri about 2 winters ago when this happened. I got to her town a bit before midnight or so, and I hadn't eaten yet, so my mom offered to run up to Walmart in town to pick up some stuff for dinner. The trip there and the shopping were uneventful apart from buying a case of Yoo-Hoo. That stuff rules. Anyway, as we start to drive out of the parking lot, which was empty apart from probably less than 10 cars, we passed a car that was off by itself on the far end of the lot, away from all the others. As we came towards it, I happened to look through their windshield and saw what looked like a fat guy in a white long-sleeve button-down sitting in the front seat. But something seemed really off. As we passed directly in front of it, I saw the figure more clearly and wanted to scream and vomit as soon as I saw it. Whatever it was just sat there completely motionless. I thought at first that it was just some screwed-up mannequin someone put in the driver's seat as a prank. Whatever it was, it did wear a white business shirt and red tie. But the thing inside was a bloated, amorphous humanoid. It didn't appear to have any hair or face, just rolls of putty-like skin that seemed to be pulled tight over its head. There were no eyes, nose, mouth, or ears that I could see. Just the skin. It seemed like it was either wet with sweat or some sort of fluid, and I could clearly see it from the car. I immediately began to spaz out, and my mom asked what I was up to. I told her to circle the lot and pass by the car again because I thought I was going insane. She obliged. As we came up to the car the second time, my mom slowed down so she could look too. This time, it started to move violently, thrashing around in the car and punching at the windows. My mom floored it, and neither of us spoke until we hit the highway. I was the first one to ask, "What was in that car? You saw it. I know you saw it." All my mom said was, "Shut up. I never want to think about that again." When I was a kid, I used to read a lot of books about monsters, and I was particularly interested in the hairy hands. Supposedly, on this one road in Dartmoor in the UK, sometimes these disembodied hands will materialize on your steering wheel and turn it violently so that you crash your car. Years later, in my adulthood, I was driving back to my apartment, in Florida, mind you, not the UK, on a country road, SR-70, in the middle of the night. Now, I hadn't even thought about the hairy hands in years, but I guess something about driving on a lonely road reminded me of it. As soon as I started thinking about them, I swear my hands jerked to the left, just for a second, but enough for me to swerve into the oncoming lane. Luckily there weren't any cars around, and I didn't swerve off the road or anything, but it scared the crap out of me. I don't know what's more screwed up, an actual ghost trying to kill me, or my own subconscious. This happened around 3 months ago, at midnight. I needed to find a taxi ASAP so I could get back to my campus, and I was lucky enough to flag one down. And on the way over, the driver spotted another passenger and asked for my permission to stop. Being a good citizen, I said, sure, why not? It turned out to be a girl, 20-ish, student-looking babe. Good-looking, too. Suddenly, the taxi driver asked me to sit next to him, in the front passenger seat. Weird, I thought, but I did what he told me to. I was too tired to argue. I started thinking about the girl, and she looked kind of familiar. I thought maybe she was a student in my university, too. She asked to stop about 200 meters from the university's entrance, which isn't so weird because some guys have their cars parked there and stuff. After she stepped out, I asked the driver why he had me sit in the front with him. He turned to me and answered, "She's a ghost. I can't see her reflection in the rearview mirror." I freaked out, and the driver asked me where's the nearest church. He planned to stay there for the night. I never figured out who she was. This one time, I was driving over 500 miles in one shot, going home on the highway. It was early in the morning, about 2 a.m., and there were almost no cars, just me, my sister, and some coffee and energy drinks. At one point, there were no cars around me at all, except for one single light that I noticed in my rearview mirror. I didn't pay much attention to it, but at regular intervals I would glance at it again because it seemed to be getting closer and closer. I turned around, but I still couldn't tell what it was. I thought it was maybe a motorcycle catching up, but it simply kept getting closer with no shape to it at all. I got a little scared thinking it might be a cop, so I slowed down, and as I started to slow, it got closer. And then the light suddenly just disappeared. I couldn't see it at all. I didn't see it exit or anything. This didn't worry me that much, as I was mostly just tired and wanted to get back to my house. Every once in a while, though, the light would return, still in the same position as when it last disappeared. Now it was scaring the crap out of me, and I knew I wasn't dreaming as my sister saw it too, turning her head around but not seeing anything. I simply kept driving, hoping it wouldn't catch up. It disappeared permanently once I reached more familiar areas, but still, it was freaky. No cars around, little light, and a single unknown vehicle tailing me for miles.